Well, gang, it looks like we got another mystery on our hands because in our very first video, they're talking about a UFO landing in real time. Let's actually get down to it. Usually I say you don't have to like or subscribe, but I would appreciate if you can like and share this video this time around because, as you know, the channel is based by YouTube. I made a mistake of covering a specific topic like 5-6 days ago at this point, and ever since then YouTube has decided to hit the channel because there's a specific country you really can't talk about it, right? Otherwise you have to face the repercussions. Hopefully it's only gonna last for a few days, but let's get down to it. Roll it.
Video on YouTube, it is claimed that the Skywatcher program actually got a UAP to land in the presence of NASA. Have you heard anything about this from any of your sources? There didn't seem to be anything about it on Skywatcher website last time I checked. This is something you may want to ask the people at Skywatcher about and maybe even offer to do an interview with them. Hopefully this would be something that they can agree to and not be restricted by any NDAs.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Look, I have heard about an incident which I have not been told about officially. I'm aware that 2 psionic operators went off on their own. They weren't wearing cameras. They weren't carrying any kind of video equipment.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, point to be noted. Okay, UFO landed, but they didn't have cameras ready. Man, come on,
course of an encounter, a summoning that they were trying to do privately. An object, a craft, did apparently land in front of them. I'm assuming that this story is being held back by Alex Clokus and Skywatcher for what I'm told we can expect to be the next installment of their videos that they're producing, which they often put up online. They've put two or three previous videos up online. And this next one's meant to be on psionics. So I've invited Alex Clokus, Skywatcher, multiple times. We have an open invitation to Skywatcher to appear.
And are they saying, hey, we don't want to pull up, or?
I do think, in the interests of public disclosure, it would be great to get somebody from Skywatcher on at some stage to talk about what they're up to, because it's one of the things we get questions about more than most. People are really interested and excited and happy to see that there is an organization that's properly funded, that's doing good work investigating UAP.
Okay, good work, debatable, but no, honestly though, the Skywatcher team is being funded. And for just a small little context here, apparently and allegedly they are able to bring the UFOs down, communicate with them with their psionic abilities. Oh, shit. If you've seen Stranger Things, it's pretty much that. They're basically like sitting down and they're like, and they can communicate with like UFOs in the skies and bring them down. I mean, I know this sounds like crazy science fiction stuff, but these are the claims. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? 1, if you believe it. 2, if you don't believe it that much. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, but let's continue.
And they have, including to me, made multiple promises about being transparent and open, and I am, like everyone else, getting frustrated with the degree of secrecy surrounding the Skywatcher operation.
Same.
I can only assume it's because they want to make their own films and do their own media, and we welcome that, but it would be great at some stage to get Alex Clokus, Jake, anybody else from Skywatcher who's interested in coming on and talking, to actually talk about what they've been doing, especially with the psionics. And yes, we've heard about this incident involving an alleged landing. Carl Crusher mentioned it to me when we were doing the work with Magic Mike Batista a few weeks ago, and we really haven't heard any more. Love to hear more.
All right, so look, it seems like, honestly, some interesting comments from Ross. One, he's frustrated with Skywatcher and their transparency, and I think a lot of people have felt that way, myself included.
Yeah.
I am working on something about that, but more on that later. But yeah, you know, this video.
Yeah, it's always gonna be a ban. We all frustrated. We demand answers! We demand answers! The public demand answers! And when the public, or when the world needed him most, he returned. Shout out to the homie Secureteam, and also shout out to the homie Vetted, Ross Coulthart, and everybody that trying to bring this to attention. But check this out, roll it.
Does some damage to this glowing object, and we see some fragments peel away, but they don't spray out radially and just vanish. They linger in a sort of tight proximity to the main body, almost like they're staying in a local field around the object.
This is that Hellfire clip, you know, that UFO that they revealed during a Congress meeting a couple of weeks ago, claimed to have been hit by U.S. military with the Hellfire missile, one of the craziest missile, one of the most effective missile that we have, right? And it didn't do anything. But there is more to the story that's coming up. This is why I have this clip here.
Thermal overlays show brief hot streaks at the separation points, then rapid cooling and persistence of the primary body or UFO, which then continues on, and some have said looks to even appear as if it goes underneath the waters, although I will leave it up to you guys on that theory, because I'm still on the fence. And the online community has absolutely been on fire with theories and discussion, you know, about what this could have been. And when it comes to footage released at these UAP hearings by whistleblowers with no backup data, metadata, or source material, I'm always on the fence about whether I even want to post about it, because it's almost like, what is the point? As it could...
you know what he's saying does make sense, because I've even seen you guys bring this up, and yeah, it's a fair assessment, fair question, right? You gotta always ask questions, and the question that everybody is asking is, yeah, no, cool, okay, it's cool that they are officially talking about it, but why are they now talking about it? It's like one of those things, right? If you ever seen that 2012 movie, the quote is something like, hey, when they tell you to not panic, that's when you panic, okay? And when they tell you everything is good, that's when you know it's not good. That's when you panic, okay? So that's kind of like the quote, and that's the analogy here, is that, yeah, they are officially coming out and talking about this crap. Why now? And I believe there was somebody that also brought this up in question that, hey, if this footage is real, okay, which I think it is, but you know, you gotta look at it from a different lens sometimes too. If this footage is real of the Hellfire missile hitting the UFO, if that is real, that shows you the holes, right? That shows you that we as humans, Homo sapiens, are kind of weak against these alien twats, them baddies, perhaps, those bozos, right? And perhaps they don't want to admit to that. Perhaps this is really about national security, as they say, and they don't want to like show that, but they did. They actually did. Why now?
Be doctored, edited, totally fake, or something completely different from what we're actually seeing, and we have no recourse to figure out what we're actually looking at. But I digress, because when I saw the footage, I'm sure like many of you, I thought, wow, this looks like something, you know, compared to the past UAP footage that's been released. There was a wide range of explanations. We had mundane explanations, whether it be from Reddit, tech forums, sensor analysis threads, that pointed to obvious things first, such as balloons, weather devices, or optical parallax effects from a moving drone, where we had this fast maneuvering camera on this drone that was recording a relatively slow or stationary object, which can create illusions of speed or odd motion. Also, to note, certain sensors and compression artifacts can occur and warp how the fragments look. And these are valid technical calls.
Right. But the reason we don't necessarily talk about those, I guess we're talking about it now, but the reason we generally people didn't talk about it and believed it at face value, or are believing it at face value, is because it's coming directly from a UFO hearing, right? From a Congress, okay? Like, what are we talking about? People took oath in front of the Congress, and the government is releasing this footage. Like, my God. Of course, they have lied in the past. They do lie actively as well. But you know what I mean, right? Like, this is not like anybody like uploading a UFO video on the internet and is claiming it's the aliens. It's, I mean, coming from a Congress. So if we cannot all agree that this is genuine, then shit, like, what is real, what is fake, right? Like, what is real anymore? Yeah, get ready for the next clip, which is crazy. Really quickly, I don't want to miss this, but I need to shout out you guys. Drew, Sassy Madeline, again, Sassy Madeline, Lulu, Tony, and the homie Paps, and all of you guys that are dropping tips and super thanks. You guys gotta do none of it, honestly. I really, really appreciate it. The channel is being suppressed. It's been like 5-6 days now, and you know, I decided to just go back on the second channel, and I started being active there. If you're able to and you want to, you don't have to, obviously, definitely subscribe to this channel. You don't have to. Once again, the reason I started uploading on this channel, again, this is my second channel, and I started uploading UFO content there before I brought that content here on the main channel, along with like other stuff that we do. Right, but since this channel is being suppressed, I'm going back to that channel, uploading like compilation there for the time being, because this channel is being suppressed. But thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the channel before the suppression, after the suppression, if you're here. Appreciate it. All right, let's get back to the content here. Boo boo, roll it.
So don't ignore them, and they're going to come back into play here in just a moment.
A quick demo by Mick West. So shout out to Mick West of the motion parallax effect witnessed in many of the UAP hearing footage releases. This is gonna be interesting. So
this is another example of a flying UFO effect from something that isn't actually moving. All that's happening here is I am walking along, I'm pointing the camera towards this white ball which I've suspended from some wire from a tree. Here's a wider view, and you can see when I zoom in, the effect of it moving fast over a background is greatly increased. This is the original shot, where there's even less of an illusion, and here it is without the image stabilization, and you can see it doesn't look like it's moving at all, really. Here's the setup. There's a deer in the background.
Dang. The point he's making is that the footage that we just saw of the Hellfire missile, it's been claimed that was moving fast, and they're basically doing this demonstration where they're saying because of weird angles, different effects, it can make it seem like it's moving when it's not. That is crazy, right? Now, of course, this is just a demonstration, does not mean that this applies to the Hellfire missile footage that was released, but it's one of those demonstrations that makes you want to question everything, right? Which is, I guess, a good thing. You want to question everything for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. It's not moving, but it feels like it's moving. So now you have the side-by-side still ball goes fast, go fast UFO, while we know this is not moving. Speed illusion by Parallax. And the demo is by Mick West. Yeah, Parallax and Mick West. That kind of rhymes. Yeah.
George Knapp, who testified at the hearing, put it bluntly, stating, quote, that there are servers where there is a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to ever see. Another heavy line that came from Lou Elizondo was when he told the committee that, quote, he's never seen a Hellfire missile hit a target and bounce off. And that's why this UFO clip made its way to the Hill. So what are the real possible takeaways here? Well, first, authenticity matters. Raw sensor files, chain of custody, operator logs. Those are the documents that move an item from viral clip to verified evidence. Second, if the footage is authentic, we need to rule out sensor quirks and missile fusing behaviors before we call this exotic. Third, the politics matter. The hearing confirms that some insiders believe that there's more material withheld. And that's now a congressional oversight problem, not just a curious clip on some forum. And again, before we go further here and we move on to this potential debunking of the footage, just watching it at face value, it does look pretty damn cool. I mean, it looks like a UFO is struck, at least partially. We see an object bouncing off of it, although there has been a lot of speculation as to what was the missile and what was the UFO. And as I said earlier, when it comes to the government and any sort of information that they put forth, especially totally unsubstantiated footage with no background information or data, and characters like Lou Elizondo, who...
Man, that's kind of crazy. I'm all up for asking questions, absolutely, so this is not a dig against anybody. You know, absolutely, you gotta ask questions, but the point is that this one was released by the government during a Congress meeting. Whether the government wanted this to release or not, that's up to debate. It looks like that the Congress is like, okay, let's release the footage, right? They push their hand, but now we're at a point where we're debunking this, which of course is a good thing, right? You want to debunk it because this is how we get to the truth. But perhaps, yeah, right. Like with UFOs, there's just like, man, what is real? What is fake, man? Holy crap. Can we just get the damn answers? Can we get the damn truth? How long we gotta wait, man?
Has been caught presenting already long since debunked UFO footage and imagery at both public and private paid events, along with his totally dodgy employment history with the government and other people. You know, it causes a lot of speculation, especially with me and anyone that's been doing this for as long as we have, and especially as long as I have here on this channel. And I'm actually really glad that I waited an extra day or two to publish this video, because credit where it's due, a YouTuber by the name of Hank Green put up a video, and whose video I will link to down below. He put out a very calm, clear breakdown that pulled this footage apart in ways that a lot of people missed, and his whole video blew up fast. I think it's at 1 million views already, if not almost there in just a day. And his main points are straightforward and testable. Parallax and zoom can make a slow or stationary object look insanely fast when a moving drone is tracking it. A Hellfire missile uses a crush fuse to detonate itself. It has to hit something with a pretty good impact, and it won't always detonate the way people expect on softer targets. The fragments, he said, look exactly like shredded mylar or balloon material, and identical fragment shapes seen in the video can be caused by lens or sensor artifacts, which we have seen in past released videos, such as, I believe it was the Jeremy.
It says that, notice, let me actually put it here. Notice how the debris all have the same exact shape. Dang. So yeah, I don't know about this one, man. So now it's getting to the point where this is fake, because that's what he's trying to elude, right? And respectfully, like, this is not a dig at him or anybody. I think it's great we're asking questions, absolutely, right? But the point is, we're really getting to the point where we're saying this is also fake. Shit, man, that's wild.
In past released videos, such as, I believe it was the Jeremy Corbell footage of alleged triangular UFOs caught at night above a ship that ended up being nothing more than secondary artifacts caused by not only the footage being recorded secondhand off of a screen with a phone, but that the optic that recorded the footage itself had a triangular shaped sensor within it, and so it gave all of the objects and artifacts in the footage the same triangular shape, much like we're seeing in this footage here when the UFO breaks apart. And you can notice, as Mr. Green put it in his video, how all of the smaller pieces are exactly identical.
We had Mr. White in Breaking Bad, and now we got Mr. Green out here debunking the UFO claims. Man. Yeah, man, why, Mr. Green? Why you had to, man? Damn, man.
Their shape and how they look and everything about them. And those are crisp, testable observations. And as Hank said in his video, you know, once you hear this...
Yo, his name is Hank. Yeah, I know he said it before, but now I'm realizing because I mentioned Breaking Bad, right? Yo, Hank. Okay, so Hank Green obviously does make sense. So Hank is gonna try to do the opposite thing as Mr. White.
Simple explanation for this footage, and you watch the clip afterwards, it's almost impossible not to see exactly what he's talking about, which is what appears to just be a balloon that was struck by this Hellfire missile. The missile doesn't bounce off of it, but it pierces it, and because it's a balloon and did not have anywhere near the kinetic energy to detonate the Hellfire, which is why it continues passing right through it, and seems to have easily left a lot of the balloon or similar.
I mean, it's good to ask questions, but I doubt this was a balloon, man. Because this was released by the military, or this was recorded by the military, my bad, and released during the Congress meeting, right? I doubt it, but again, you never know, right? So perhaps it is a balloon. But if it's a balloon, it would be completely demolished. Like, what the hell? Yeah, right? Like, it would be just completely gone. It would not, like, hit a balloon and, boom, 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 beep, bam, boom, and it would just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bing, boom. It's, the missile is just gonna go in, it's gonna go through it, and it's gonna burst. The balloon is gonna literally burst. And if it's metal, then it's gonna explode. But it did not explode. The missile did not explode. It just hit it and bing, boom, boom. It just diverted.
Object intact. And believe me, these Hellfire missiles can slice through any kind of thin material. And the visual here matches a missile cutting a balloon, where we see a penetration and cut a
yeah, no, I see the point, but it's like we have 3 different things. I mean, the smaller, whatever they are, UFOs or I guess balloon particles, they're following it. Yeah, that don't necessarily make sense, but okay.
Appearance rather than a full detonation and vaporization, and then we see what appears to be a sort of shredded mylar or plastic fragment morphology where, the fragments look like strips of a balloon.
It feels like that they're following it, not necessarily falling down, they're following it. But from this angle, it's quite hard to say, right, whether it's moving or not. I guess the argument he made earlier, or Parallax rather, that this might not even be moving, but it's with the effect it's being made to look like it's moving. Yeah, man, what is real? What is real? What is fake anymore?
Balloon or mylar that float and tumble rather than something like heavy shrapnel of an alien craft or something like that. And people ask, well, why does the debris or the smaller UFO objects look to orbit around the object? And you have to remember, the drone and the camera are at a certain distance, very high up above the ocean. The camera on it, along with the drone, move with the debris's direction that you're seeing here. So lightweight bits appear to travel together, but they are...
Another example. Yeah, no, I understand what he's saying. Another example of a balloon floating at normal wind speed appearing to move much faster due to the motion parallax effect.
Not orbiting. And then we have things like wind vectors plus drag that keep the pieces together. Imagine a slow-moving balloon at basic wind speed, which based on the calculations of the HUD data and the numbers down in the corner of the footage, the object that we're seeing in said footage is actually moving very slow, as I said, about wind speed. But because of the way the drone is circling and recording around it, it gives this effect as if it's moving much, much faster.
Yeah.
And so if you have a balloon that is partially torn, flying steadily in one direction, so are the smaller pieces with it going to be moving in the same direction. And
dang, that's a crazy one. What do you make of it? Yeah, I want to know. I definitely want to know your thoughts. Check this out. So we got Avi Loeb again talking about it. Roll it.
Astrophysicist warning a massive comet hurtling through space could be alien technology. Joining me now is that astrophysicist, Avi Loeb. I mean, Avi, that is a pretty wild claim. Why? Why do you think this could be aliens?
Yeah.
Well, science is fun. We can learn by observing nature without assuming that we know the answer. The biggest compliment I got was from a U.S. Air Force pilot who said that because of you, my daughter now wants to become a scientist. The point is we see an object that is entering the inner solar system. It's as big as Manhattan Island, and it's moving along the plane of the planets around the sun with a very small probability. It looks like its trajectory was fine-tuned. There was a glow in front of the object towards the sun rather than behind it, away from the sun, the way we see it in comets. And the good news is that it will come close to Mars, actually, by the end.
The good news by what? By when?
And the good news is that it will come close to Mars, actually, by the end of this week, so we can get more data about it. It appears to shed the nickel without iron, which is very unusual for comets. So I'm just saying, let's keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Keep our eyes.
I agree. Yeah. Let's keep an eye on it. You mentioned in your study that it could be conducting recon on Earth, but how could it be doing that if it's millions upon millions of miles away?
Yeah. Maybe they got like those binoculars, right, that can see through.
Well, it could release probes that will approach Earth. It could look at us from a distance. You know, there might be a smarter kid on our cosmic block, some civilization that is more advanced than we are. And so it's a learning experience. We should just watch objects entering the solar system and check whether among the rocks there might be a tennis ball that was thrown by a neighbor.
In your gut, though, Avi, in your gut, do you really think this is aliens?
Yeah.
No, I think most likely it's natural. But just like in the intelligence agencies, you know, we need to be prepared for a black swan event. And we need to monitor every object that enters the solar system from outside. This is a new era. We have the Rubin Observatory in Chile that was funded by the National Science Foundation and the Department of Energy that will detect a new object from outside the solar system every few months. And we should just be ready to a scenario where one of them might be a Voyager-like spacecraft, because we launched objects outside of the solar system that are technological. Yeah.
My gosh. I am not currently aware of any technology here on Earth that could destroy this. It is 33 billion tons in size, larger than Manhattan.
How do we know it's 33 billion tons? How do we know that number? How? ¿Por qué? Like, did somebody like send a weighting machine and they weighed it in space? Like, how do you know? I know, like, they observed it, they saw the size of it, they done those calculations and discovered it's like an approximate, right? But the fact that they are saying 33 billion tons, that is suspect, right? So how many nukes do we need to fire at it before is that... I know they actually talked about firing nukes at it, which is crazy, but...
I don't know about you. I'm really hoping that your gut is right on this and that it is not aliens, because if it is, you know, all the other stuff we just talked about today is irrelevant.
I kind of hope that it is alien, but it's like in a good way, right? It's a peaceful, like, visitation, or, yeah, perhaps it's just passing through. But if it passed through and they say that, yeah, a real, like, alien mothership passed through, nobody's really gonna believe it, right? Because we never seen it. But I really hope it is aliens, and we get an alien DLC before GTA 6. A good one, though. Shout out to the homie Mystery Man. Check this out. Roll it.
Simon, a YouTuber, visited Yester Castle in Scotland, a ruin linked to goblin legends. It didn't take long before he started hearing things.
Oh no. Bruh, that's a small one. That's a small hole. Pause.
Can you hear voices?
Despite his fear, he decided to go in.
Uh-oh. Mama always said never mess around with the holes that are unfamiliar.
Look at that.
Don't mess with the holes that are unfamiliar, gang.
Whoa.
Oh, damn.
This is so cool. The structure is just immaculate. I mean, it's been here since 13th century.
Oh, okay, so that's
that
like
staircase down there is considered to be the staircase to hell.
Quite literally?
That wasn't me. Maybe it's goblins.
He continued walking down the stairs. There was no one inside, and even at the bottom of the stairs, it was a dead end. He couldn't find the source of the sounds.
You know, it really does feel like that this is the entrance made for some, like, smaller beings, right? And we can see, like, I'm assuming he's around, like, 6 feet tall, right? And he's having a hard time go through it. And it also feels like that this is made, like, actually carved. Not, yeah, you can see, like, it seems like an underground entrance. made by somebody, probably by us humans, but for smaller creatures. Why?
But when he climbed back up, he discovered this.
Something big is coming.
Oh, whoa. Whoa. Okay, this one is big. Yeah. Man, that is creepy. Like, this has been made, right, by somebody. This entire area.
Let's go.
He felt freaked out as he expected to find people inside, but he didn't. So where did these sounds come from? He left without answers.
Yeah.
A man kept getting alerts from his motion sensor late at night. Tired of guessing, he set up a camera at the far end of his property to catch what was causing it. One night, the footage showed something eerie. In the middle of the frame, a shape appeared, faint, almost human-shaped, walking back and forth like it was stuck in a loop. It wasn't smoke, it wasn't fog, the shape moved too clearly, as if it was walking. The man was spooked, convinced that was the cause of the alarms.
Check this one out.
This picture has been circulating online without much context. It appears to have been taken by a trail camera. Some people argue it's just a bear caught at a strange angle, while others believe it could be Bigfoot. There's simply not enough information to draw any real conclusions. It remains a mystery.
Man, every Bigfoot video that I see, or seemingly Bigfoot, there's never like a definitive conclusion. I remember there was one video where a bunch of people they were in a train, and they saw like a tall ass creature looking exactly like Bigfoot would, and then Bigfoot or the creature sees them looking at him, and then he just, crouches in an open field. That video is one of the best ones out there, and that one seemingly is genuine, unless like somebody actually debunked it and I'm not aware, but that one was the only
Near
one that
Mount St. Helens,
genuine.
Tyler Barnes spotted a cougar chewing on something and managed to get a closer look. To his surprise, it looked like a hand. He snapped a photo and shared it online.
Yo.
Locals debated whether it was a bear paw, a beaver paw, or something else entirely. But the shape seemed eerily human. Right. Experts can likely rule out bears, beavers, and humans.
I mean, yeah, look at those nails, look at them fingers, bro, dang, those big.
If authentic, it could be a clue to a large, primate-like creature long rumored to roam the dense forests of that area.
Yeah. Suspect indeed.
While hiking in Canmore, Alberta, this person suddenly spotted something strange.
Oi! Oi, come down, mate! Can be standing there, mate!
A massive figure crossing a mountain ridge. It paused briefly at the top, then moved on again, covering nearly 360 meters in just 100 seconds. The sighting left a lasting impression. Ooh. Unfortunately, we may never know for sure who or what.
Holy crap, that far away? Yeah, when he zoomed out, that's when you see like actual distance and difference between shit. That's crazy. Did you see this video though? Yeah, check this one out because the channel is being suppressed. I doubt if you've seen it, or perhaps you already seen it. But if you have not seen it, check this video out and I'll see you right there.